the cycle of Cutco. And it's really just about learning what are those KRAs. As a business owner, you hear the term KRAs, and it's key result area. That's what KRA stands for. I found that in most areas of my business and most areas of my life, the more you can kind of simplify things and just figure out what actually is moving the needle, what matters the most, the more effective we tend to be. When I was a new representative, I'll never forget, I sat down and had a PC with one of my managers, Vanessa Hellberg. And what Vanessa told me was this. She kind of just challenged me. She said, Brian, you're a good guy. You have a lot of potential. I think you could go here as far as you want, but I think the track that you're on, you're never going to realize your potential. You're not actually going to accomplish what we think you're capable of and what I think you're capable of. And she goes, but my God, I will tell you this, if you started treating this like a job, you would make some scary job type money. She goes, but as it is, I think you're kind of treating this like a hobby, and you're kind of making hobby money. In fact, she goes, how much money do you make from most of your hobbies? And I was like, I mean, nothing. They're hobbies. I just sort of do them. And she goes, yeah, that kind of describes the way you do this job too. You just sort of do it here and there. And I kind of laughed, but she definitely had a point, and it came from a good place. Just so you know, this is like she was in my wedding and one of my very closest friends and confidants. But she did just challenge me, and she just said, if you treat this like a job, you're going to make job money. And so that's kind of what I got a chance to share with them, and that's what I want to get a chance to talk over a little bit here with you guys as well. So here's what I want to do. I want to go over with you guys and talk a little bit about the cycle of Cutco. There's so many things about this job that can be complicated. There's so many things about this job that, there's a learning curve or it can be new. But the reality is the most important things, and this is the good news for y'all, the most important things that we do are honestly simple and repeatable. When you think about the cycle of Cutco, here's how it works. We do demos. On these demos, ideally, we close sales. Sometimes we don't, but by and large, 2 out of 3, we seem to close sales company-wide, higher than that here in Texoma. We also will get recommendations who we will then call on the phone so we could do more demos. And that way we have more sales to get recommendations who call on the phones. We do demos, sales recs, call them on the phone, et cetera, et cetera. The cycle of Cutco. Here's the mistake I made when I was new. I tried to become the best at like one thing. And it doesn't even matter what that one thing is right now. But I tried to become the best at one thing and use that as an excuse why I didn't have to sort of focus as much time and attention on the areas that I wasn't as excited about. But guys, it's called the cycle of Cutco. This is not the straight line of Cutco. Imagine like a bicycle tire rolling down a hill. And imagine that you could cut that tire with just no loss of momentum. Well, it'll just keep kind of doing its thing here for a little bit. It'll coast on its own momentum. But eventually that sucker's just going to unravel. And you're going to end up with just the straight line of Cutco, which has a beginning, a middle, and absolutely an end. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with having an end to your time here with Cutco. Most of you guys eventually are going to do some amazing things here, and then you'll step out to other just incredible opportunities. And I'm excited for you when that comes. That's Cutco graduation. Now, for some of y'all, though, you might find like me, like Celeste, like John, that we love what we do here, and we want to just keep improving and keep growing and keep making it better. And so my goal, my number one goal for every single one of you and everyone in the Texoma division is I want to make you proficient at all of these different areas. I want to make you average. That's it. Now, that doesn't sound exciting. It doesn't sound sexy. If anything, it might even sound kind of negative, but it's not. Being an average rep here, once I really kind of leaned in and embraced this, I made amazing money here being average. Don't get me wrong, though. If you can be proficient, if you can hit the averages on everything and then find one area that you become really great at, oh my God, are you kidding me? The sky's the limit. Now, when it comes down to demos, guys, it's show and tell that we get paid to do. That's what demos are. Sales, y'all, here's the thing I want you to understand. If you're a note taker, you might jot this down. Selling Cutco is not art, it's science. It's not art, it's science. What I mean by that is when I was new, I thought that if I didn't have the exact right personality or I didn't have the exact right person I was seeing or whatever it was, I thought that was going to be the thing that held me back. Guys, it's not. Sales is absolutely a learned thing. There's no one in our company that I could not teach how to go sell homemaker sets on their next demos. I can teach anyone that, but they've got to go in there understanding that is on the table. They got to go in there willing to learn. Recommendations. Here's the thing. Recommendations is professional networking. That's all it is. Recommendations equals networking. In your notes, you might write that down. Sometimes in our head, we make it like big and weird when it's not. You know what people naturally do? Talk about things they like. That's it. That's what they naturally do. It's a normal thing to do, and networking is so key. And then the phones, guys, again, the phones is just communication. It's business communication, but it matters. Now, that being said, there is something in the middle. Like if this is like a bicycle wheel, there's the spokes in the middle that hold it all together. And if you guys look on here, kind of the thing in the middle there, it's your schedule and it's the admin. That's what keeps it together. And so my goal when I'm measuring my health in the field, because I do go in the field, I usually take 2 months every fall, 1 month every spring to go in the field. My goal at all times is to go, where am I at in these different areas? These are the departments of Brian Carter, Cutco Rep Incorporated. So these are the areas that I'm just trying to measure my progress. So let's kind of talk about what can sort of improve your game in these different areas. What are the key result areas here? For the cycle of Cutco, you always want to start with the schedule and the admin. Again, treat it like a job and you make job money. What does it look like for my schedule? Okay, first off, do I have demo goals? That's part of the schedule. There's a lot of reasons why people don't set goals in their life. And all those reasons are just limiting beliefs and fear, just messing with you, preventing you from going out there and accomplishing what you're capable of. We don't set goals for ourselves because of fear of failure, because how am I going to feel about myself? Because what if my manager is going to think about me? What about the pressure I feel? What about the anxiety that comes with it? I get why. Don't get me wrong. I'm a nervous wreck. I get anxiety. I get all that stuff too. But what I can tell you is we set goals to measure our progress. So if Avery sets a goal of trying to accomplish 10 demos between now and Monday at midnight, whether she hits 10 demos or not, she's not a better or worse person. We have this emotional attachment to our goals, and it is profoundly unhealthy. So I want to make sure y'all understand that if you set a goal of doing 10 demos and you hit it, you're not better than you were today. And if you set a goal of 10 demos and you miss it, you're not worse than you were today. The goals are a tool. In your notes, write this down. Goals are a tool to help you be more effective. That is it. They don't make you better. They don't make you worse. Sometimes we give you a sword for hitting them. Congratulations. All right. As a society, we have all these sort of things that reinforce this weird belief in our mind that goals somehow accomplishing them makes us better or worse as people. And it doesn't. Goals are simply a tool to help you become more effective. I have set 9,000 professional goals for myself in 2 decades here at Cutco. I'm probably rounding up a hair, but not by a lot. I'm willing to bet in those 2 decades, I've accomplished 13 of them. Okay. I mean, maybe that's not quite right. I bet it's more than that. But because I always have goals, you know what I can do? I can use my goals to create business plans. I want to accomplish X, and then I work backwards. When Avery can say, I have a goal of doing 10 demos, all of a sudden she can work it backwards. That's how you do a business plan. I'm clear on where I want to be. But the difference between like a dream and a goal, a dream is being like, man, it'd be cool if I did 10 demos. That'd be wild. I bet I'd sell a lot and get a big paycheck. That's a dream. A goal is I'm going to accomplish 10 demos and then I'm going to work it backwards. If I'm going to get 10 demos, then I'm going to have to do a certain amount of phone times. How many phone times do I need to do? We're going to come right back to that. I need a certain amount of names and numbers. Do I have them? If I don't, what would I need to do then to get those names and numbers? If I don't know if I have those resources, what support mechanisms are in place? Do I need time with my manager to actually work on that? Y'all sort of follow me on this? By starting with a goal, you work backwards and it helps you become more effective. Think about it like this, y'all. Let's say you have 2 people in your life that are both just really committed to just a healthy lifestyle this summer. And one of them says, I want to lose 20 pounds this summer. And the other one says, I'm going to lose as much as I can. They have done a million studies on this. Who's going to lose more weight in that scenario? It's the 20-pound person. As much as I can, it never seems to work out. It never works out. That 20-pound person, though, they have metrics, they have goals, they can measure their progress, they can celebrate some wins. And by the way, the wins that you're celebrating are you becoming more effective, not necessarily always hitting it. If I have to go to lose 20 pounds this summer and I only lose 19, does that represent success or failure? What do y'all think? I think most people would probably say success. You're close to the mark. You're healthier. You look better. You feel better. Your clothes fit better. But guys, I missed my goal. I guess I failed. I'm a failure. Do y'all see how self-defeating that is? Do y'all see how it prevents us from doing the things that we want to do? Fear of failure and fear of rejection. That is the reason that you don't ask for the demos you want. It's the reason you don't ask for the orders you're capable of. It's the reason you don't pursue the job, the relationship. It is amazing how much that just fear of failure and anxiety of just self-judgment. It's not even other people always. Like, I don't care what other people think, but I care what I think deep, dark, late at night, that weird negative self-talk. I don't know if anyone can relate to that. So guys, you got to be able to get past that. Your goals are so key. What about a top 50 list with the admin? If anyone ever tells me, I always laugh when someone on my team goes, oh, I don't have 50 people to see. I go, no. You just don't have 50 people you want to see. You've got 397 people you can see. So let's dig into that and let's claw through the mud and find the 50 you're at least willing to see. It's okay. You're allowed to be new. You're so much harder on yourselves than we are. It's okay if you just are like radically honest and authentic with us. You're never going to hurt our feelings. Cameron's never going to say anything I haven't heard before. If she's like, Brian, I'm terrified to call this person, I'll be like, great, hand me your phone. I'll dial it for you. Maybe I can raise my voice an octave. I'll just tell him I'm Cameron. I definitely can't. All right. I've got this like weird gravel voice these days. But here's the deal. It's not a lack of resources that's usually holding us back. It's a lack of resourcefulness. So when I think about the schedule and the admin, here's what I think. I think it's my daily demo goals. It's so key. You can't do anything unless you have daily demo goals. All right. And the goal shouldn't be as many as I can or 100. It should be something that actually means something to you. Like if I was talking to Cameron and she said, I've got one demo tomorrow, this would be my question. Hey, great job with your one demo tomorrow. Was that your goal or is that just all you were able to get lined up? That's the question I ask everyone on my team. And she might say, hey, that was my goal. I'm doing fireworks and we're going to try to not blow anyone's hands off on the 4th of July. Like be safe, y'all. All right. And I'd be like, hey, great. Congratulations. You accomplished your goal. How great does that feel? Your goal is one. You got one. Good job. Go sell a homemaker. Show them that special. I bet you'll sell them a cig. But more often than not, the answer is going to be some version of, that's just kind of all I got. And I'm like, okay, well, what is your goal? But most of my team, they would give me some version of this. They'd be like, I don't know, I guess as many as I can. Which again, is just another way of saying I don't have a goal. That's okay. They don't have to lie to me. You don't have to pretend like you have some well thought out, articulated plan. So what we do is we help them formulate the goal. All right, great. Let me ask you, what would be a number you would feel really excited about? Like if I just airdropped demos to you tomorrow, and again, don't say like 20, because we both know that's a lie. I saw you in training. You're not good for more than 5 hours anyway. What would be an actual number you'd be excited about? And, and then that gets people thinking, they're like, I don't know, man, like 3 demos would be pretty awesome. I'd probably get 2 sales at least, probably 1 no sale, maybe all 3 would buy, but off those 2 sales, maybe I get something small, but I also get like a galley set and I'd sell $1,000. That'd be pretty cool. That's awesome, man. I think that's really great. So what would it take us to get those 3 demos? You already have 1. And then all of a sudden we start working the plan. Again, that's the value of goal setting. By the way, when you lay it out like that, let me teach you how easy it is. Okay, great. You need 2 more demos tomorrow. Then here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how to ask for that in a way that creates urgency in a positive fashion. And then I'm going to make her do it back to me. And I'm going to do it for her. She's going to do it back to me until you sound great. But a lot of times y'all get like, you get nervous or you get like squicked out or you're afraid we're going to judge you or think less of you. And we're never going to do that. So here's what it would sound like. I'd say, oh my gosh, Celeste, thank you so much for picking up right now. I know it's a holiday weekend and I'm working really hard to make sure I've got my schedule full. That way I can take some time off this weekend, but I still have got to get my job done. That's still really important. So I've got to get 3 appointments tomorrow and I only need 2 more to hit my goal. I've already got 1 down. Gosh, I only need 2 more. I was hoping that maybe me and you could connect tomorrow at 2 p.m. Or do you think 4 would be any better for you? Gosh, is there any way you could squeeze me in for one of those times? Compare that to being like, are you busy-ish? Because I am armed with just power and confidence. And here's the thing. Of course, I sound good doing it. I've been here forever. But of course, I sound better than her. But it's not about me sounding better than her. It's just about learning how to do that. Now, was anything I just said something that I couldn't work with Cameron on over a 4-minute window of time and she could nail that? Of course not. In fact, I did it one time. I bet she would already sound better than me doing it. But it's those key result areas. You're spending more time thinking about the job than doing the job. Maybe you guys here represented aren't, but a lot of our team does. The great thing about a job like this is you could be working anytime you wanted. You know what the crappy thing about a job like this is? You could be working anytime you wanted. So sometimes if you're not careful and you don't take it seriously about creating a schedule for yourself, you will start to feel like you're supposed to be working all the time. And you'll spend time thinking about working on days you're not even working. Can anyone kind of relate to that? Like you carry weird stress with you for literally no reason at all. It's like, cool, you didn't have any demos today. Did you have a good day off? And like, no, man, I was stressing about phone time. And I'm like, you aren't doing phone time. What was there to stress about? I had this conversation with one of my assistant managers the other day. God bless her. I love her so much. much? She's like, oh, I was kind of stressing about my phone time. I'm like, you have no phone time on your schedule. What is there to stress about? That's like me stressing about working out tomorrow. So guys, I just can't tell you enough. Like when you get a schedule that you feel good about, it's the greatest feeling in the world. It's unbelievable because even when you miss your goals, you can do something with it. Like I put 10 on Avery. I'm going to take 10 away. Let's say Avery said 3. She had a goal of 3 demos between Monday at midnight and she only booked 2. Well, guys, 2 out of 3, I can live with that. Because you know what that means? It either just means that our plan maybe wasn't quite there. Maybe we didn't have quite enough names and numbers ready, or maybe we didn't quite work on our answers to kind of 4th of July holiday weekend objections. That's okay. We can work on that. Or number 2, just the execution was off. She had all the tools in place, but hey, you're not going to be perfect every day. You're part of team human being. That's what makes us special. And that's okay too. I can do something with that. But what if Cameron sets herself up this weekend and she's like, hey, I'm definitely going to spend some fun time with the family, but I still am going to work and do my job. And I'm going to do as many as I can. And she books 2 out of as many as I can. Was that good? Was that bad? Was that satisfying? I can tell you it wasn't satisfying. I can tell you that for a fact. 2 out of 3, that's awesome. You can live with that. You can work with that. Guys, when it comes to demos, I have nothing to teach you about doing demos. Your demos are already fine. Like y'all, like new people on my team, they stress about their demo like they're doing something wrong. Your demos are the thing you're the best at. I mean, y'all tell them we're made in New York, right? You're not like, we're made in Deutschland, okay? You're like, yeah, it's 1326. You don't tell them a homemaker is 9,000. Like, how do you screw it up? I don't know. Just like read your script. For your demos, here's the only thing. Build more rapport and just get a little more excited. That's it. Like that, the only thing I would tell you to do on your demos, maybe slow down a little bit. Like a lot of times we don't mean to, but I don't know if y'all know this, but when we get nervous, we tend to talk faster. That's a little human psychology there. So a lot of y'all probably without meaning to, you're going a little bit faster in your demos than you really need to. But other than that, guys, just build more rapport, spend more time chit-chatting with your customers and creating a comfortable space and just get a little more excited about the product. There are 2 things that sell Cutco: enthusiasm and Cutco. Now we got the Cutco part covered. The demo is amazing. That video is wild. So what can you really bring to the table? Well, enthusiasm, not hype, not nonsense. Okay. Like you don't need to be a second-rate version of me. You got to be what your enthusiasm looks like. And like enthusiasm for Michelle is going to look different than it does for Tyson, and both are valid. It's just whatever that enthusiasm looks like for her. Okay. So guys, demos are easy. What about sales? If you really want to get serious about closing sets, here's what you do. Memorize the close. If you're a note taker, you could jot this down. Memorize the close. It's slide 8, 9, 10. Memorize the close. Write down the prices. Always ask your customer to write the prices down and answer 2 objections on the homemaker. That's it. That's it. By the way, you want to know why I sound amazing and I sell so many sets? Hey, Miss Jones, if you're like most people, you probably never had the chance to price fine cutlery. It's like anything else. There's a wide variety of quality and prices available. Cutco's a top-rated brand, so we do only compare to the highest quality products. Now, I've got a price comparison in here for a brand that's real similar to Cutco, and it's called Wusthof. You guys ever heard of it before? Yes, no, maybe so. Cool. Hey, Wusthof is a really high-quality set of cutlery made in Germany, and it's got just about everything you look for in a really great set of knives. Full tank construction, polypropylene hand. Y'all see? Like it's just there. I don't even have to think about it. I know my clothes, like I know the U2 song Beautiful Day. All right. Like I'm old enough that U2 is just like, it's like my heart. I'm way too into it. So like I'm not sitting there thinking like, oh, what comes next? Oh, is it a lovely day? No, crap. It's a beautiful day. No. Guys, I don't think about it. It's just there. By the way, do you know how long it would take you to sound like that good? Like 30 minutes. That's literally it. Have you ever learned a song in your life? Yes. You know how you learned half of them? You just heard it enough times. You could record yourself on your notes app in your phone, just reading the close out loud, listen to it, make yourself listen to it 20 times a day. And in 3 days, you would be the best closer on your team. It's literally that simple. It's that easy. Now, do you have to memorize those 3 slides to sell a lot of Cutco? No, of course you don't. But can you see how, because I have the words down, I can focus on my delivery. I can focus on my confidence. I can focus on my pacing. I can focus on my interactions with my customers. Man, I'm not even stressing. So for some of you, if you say, wow, memorizing is really hard for me, no worries. I'm going to have you get on Zoom with me later. I'm not going to be paying attention to you because I'm a busy dude. All right, but I'm going to do some reports. I'm going to put your butt on Zoom. And every once in a while, I'm just going to unmute you to make sure you're doing it out loud. And after about 30 minutes of being in Cutco timeout, you're going to have this down and you're going to sound astonishingly good. Now, this is not an excuse to do that instead of phone time or anything else like that. But guys, I'm telling you, if you just memorize the close, you will sound like you wrote it. And just the confidence that'll come through, the enthusiasm you can then focus on is incredible. Because again, public speaking 101, it's not just the words we say, it's the way we say it. And all of a sudden you'll be able to say it like a champion, like a freaking warrior. Let's talk about recommendations. There's only 2 parts of the demo I ever encourage people to memorize. That's it. And memorizing that script where we ask for recommendations is so key. The secret weapon, though, is you always ask again. That's literally the secret weapon. In your notes, write that down. Every time you ask for recommendations, you always ask a second time. And it's not weird. Like sometimes people are like, oh man, is it weird? And I go, it's weird because you made it weird. If recommendations are ever weird, by the way, trust me, it is 100% you. The only consistent thing across all your demos is you. All right. And so when you're going through this, guys, I just want to make sure you understand that asking for recommendations is just like asking for like, hey, what's your favorite restaurant to go get lunch at? It's just that exact same effect. But no matter how many they give you, if they gave you 3 or they gave you 40, my answer is always the same. Oh my God, Mrs. Jones, thank you so much. This is such a huge help. And I just want you to know how much I really appreciate you doing this with me. Hey, by the way, you are actually so close to being a sponsor for me. Is there any chance you could thumb through your contacts just one more time and see if anyone else jumps out at you? Because you're so close to being a sponsor. Any shot, you could just give it a shot. If there isn't anyone, that's okay. But do you think you could thumb through and just check one more time for me? I say that on every single demo I do. I average 7 additional recommendations after the fact, outside of what they initially give me. I average 7 additional recs after the fact. Now, don't get me wrong. Do I still have some people who just say, no, that's really it, Brian? Yes. But I have some people who will go and they'll add 20, and for every one person who does 20, I could have 3 people tell me no, and I'm still at a 6 or a 7 average. Or at least 2 people tell me no. And so I just want y'all to understand that asking again part, that's like the little secret weapon. Like memorizing it is great, but if you're great reading a script, you won't sound that much different on Rex memorizing it versus just reading it. But oh my God, by asking that second time, it's like some ninja stuff. It's crazy effective. And again, as long as you ask in a real fun, positive way, it's what does it. Recommendations are just, guys, they're so simple. Recommendations are the thing that you could spend the least amount of time on today, but it would have the biggest impact on the rest of your summer because it's like 7 or 8 lines. Like even the close I said you should memorize, that's like 3 slides. It's not hard. You just have to do the work. The recommendations, it's like 9 bullet points. Like that's literally it. Boy, if you get that down, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Phone time. Guys, stop making excuses for why phone time is hard when it's not. It's not that phone time is hard. It's that you don't like doing phone time. And guess what? I don't like doing phone time either. That's okay. Like it's okay to acknowledge that, hey, there's this part of my job that's required for me to be effective and I don't enjoy it and it's kind of crappy. If that means 20% of your job sucks, I'm sorry. That's what the money's for. All right. That's what the growth is for. That's what the resume is for. I had jobs before Cutco and 96% of my jobs sucked. The only part that was cool was my friends I got to take a break with. Even the paycheck sucked. It wasn't even a good paycheck. So it's okay for you to just be honest and be like, damn, Mac, I really hate phone time. I don't want to do it. And then you just go do it. I didn't feel like making my kids breakfast this morning because I'm a monster. I don't know. I'm a bad dad. I'm a terrible human being. I was busy, like I was running behind, and they're like, oh, we make us breakfast. And I'm like, no, you can just go get goldfish like you do every other day when I am available and you don't want me to make you breakfast. You weirdos, just go eat your goldfish. All right. But I didn't do that because, again, I'm not the best dad, but I'm not a monster. I don't always feel like being patient. I don't always feel like not driving that idiot off the road who just cut me off. Don't road rage. That's not cool. It's okay. You don't always feel like doing right activities, but it doesn't mean you don't do them. You do them because that's just part of our path to growth. So let's make phone time easy. What do you actually need to know? Okay, here's what you need to know. For every 2 demos you want, you need to book 1 phone time. If you want 4 demos this week, you need to set 2 phone times here in the next 2 days. Don't make it harder than it needs to be, guys. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of y'all, as you get really, really good, you don't need that many. Like for me, it's probably 3 or 4 to 1, And in fact, I could bang out 8 demos in a phone time if I have to. I just don't like phone time very much, so I'm probably not going to. But if you set yourself 1 phone time for every 2 demos you need, you're going to be fine. 10 plus calls equals a phone time. If you called less than 10 people, it wasn't a phone time. It was 5 before, 5 after at best. It was a hobby. That's the ultimate, like, what's that thing in the middle? Treat it like a job. You make job money. If you call like less than 10 people, like it's just, you're killing yourself. You're killing yourself. And I just want to tell you right now, it's okay. I know there's at least one person on this call that like you tried hard to make a list. You found some numbers, but not as many as you should. You know, you have called some people, you've booked some demos, you've had some success, but it feels like your list is small. There's like 32 people, but there's only like 7 that have numbers attached that you haven't already gotten a yes or no from. And it can get kind of frustrating. And I get that. I just want to let you know, I get that. And that's okay. But that's a different conversation. That's something your manager can really help and support you with, but you got to let them. All right. But I'll just tell you right now, if you're calling less than 10 people, it's not phone time and you're killing yourself. How long should it take to call 10 people? 20 minutes? Tops. I'm booking 4 demos in that time, just so you know. All right. Half the people I call are not going to pick up their phone. Well, how long does it take me to dial a number for someone who doesn't pick up? I don't know, 30 seconds if you're slow. So 5 or 6 of those are going to take me 2.5 to 3 minutes total. Out of, let's say, the 4 who do pick up, 3 of them, let's say one of them I just don't get it. They say, call me back, which call me back is just kind of a nice way of saying no, just so you know. Sorry, your manager won't tell you that. I will. All right. Every time they sort of blow you off, it's that much easier the next time to do it. And they don't mean to. They're not bad people. But that's why it's important you use the answers that we give you to that. It's not to be pushy, guys. It's just to be confident, to be assertive, to be positive, and just to try and create a little bit of urgency. And then knowing that if they still can't do it, that's okay. You're not bad. They're not bad. It just didn't work out. No big deal. Call the next person. But guys, literally, those 6 calls that didn't pick up took me 30 seconds a piece. Because you know how much time I spend between my calls? 0. I don't like phone time. Why would I drag it out? That's like, I don't like working out either. Why would I spend more time in the gym? That's dumb. All right. So I just go in there and I do it. Like my wife can spend forever in Central Market, just like roaming the aisles being like, man, what is that? I hate going to the grocery store. I can't find anything. It sucks. So when I go in there, I'm like a SWAT team. All right. I'm in there. I'm like, we need milk. We'll get cheese. Let's get those kettle chips. They look good. Go check out. Oh, I forgot the coffee. Quick, run, get, it's like a battlefield for no apparent reason. I'm in, I'm out. That's how you should do your phone time. I figure out who are the 10 people I'm going to call before I ever dial a number. I spend 0 time between calls. Some of y'all spend like 7 minutes between every call and you're just killing yourself. I spend 0 seconds between calls. I don't know. I take a breath and I dial the next person, but I decide before my very first call, who are the 10 to 15 people I'm going to call. I call. Because what happens for me is I still get the nerves. Isn't that funny after 20 years that you still get nerves? It's funny, guys, but it just happens sometimes. But I sort of work my kind of courage and resolve up to do that call once. I only have to work on the nerves once, and then I just go through it. You guys make yourself do it 15 times. I don't even know how you do it. I really don't. Like y'all do that. And then you let yourself, you're like, oh, they didn't pick up. God, I knew they weren't going to. Oh, now who do I? And like you wait like 4 minutes and then you have to like go through that process of like building up your courage and like lash yourself to the mast to call the next person. That's wild. I can't believe y'all do that to yourself. That sounds so hard versus just going, I'm going to call 10 people and I just call 10 people. And if they pick up, I don't know, guys, I still get nervous sometimes, but I just read my script, I smile and I book a demo. And if I don't, that's fine. I mark their name off and I move on to the next person. And then the last thing, guys, is you got to offer 2 specific times, 2 definite times. It's the number one mistake that representatives make on the phone and they don't realize they're doing it. And I was the worst. One of my managers, Josh Wenton, I would say, is 2 or, I don't later, like 5-ish. Is that better? Because again, I was trying to be flexible. I just wanted to do the demo, man. I just wanted to get a paycheck. I got bills. I got to pay my tuition. Then I was trying to be flexible. But guys, what my customer heard was it wasn't important. I was unprofessional. I lacked confidence. I wasn't assertive. And that repels people. They don't even know why. It pushes them off. So anytime I would say 5-ish o'clock, he would just hurl a dry erase marker like at my head. Now, thankfully, he was a terrible shot. He couldn't hit the wall if I gave him a head start. But I got the idea. But guys, he was so tough on me and I appreciate that. I appreciated him being a tough coach for me. I think the best thing I did as a new rep, here's the best thing. I was so dumb. I didn't know I was supposed to be embarrassed that I needed help. I think that was my superpower. Other people on my team, like they had enough ego and they thought they were supposed to know this. So they got embarrassed when they needed help. I was just that guy. I would call my manager. I called one of my managers 4 times on a demo one time to sell a knife on a payment plan. I sold a chef knife on a payment plan and I had to call Vanessa 4 times. And she's like, really, sport? You don't think you can handle this one by yourself? And I'm like, I don't think I have to. All right. And I talk to her constantly. Of course, we're best friends now. I talked to that woman 800 times my first summer. In training, I encourage y'all and I challenge y'all. I say, don't let your pride stand in the way of your paycheck. I can't tell you enough how much that's just a motto of mine. and just be curious with no judgments. Like if you're not getting the results you want, rather than just get down on yourself or your customers or the job, instead just be more curious. You're not bad because you had 3 no sales, but there's a reason you had 3 no sales. So I'm just going to step back and go, I wonder if I can figure out what the reason is. And if you can, I bet everything gets way better for you instead of going through that negative self-talk thing. But here's my last thing I'll tell you. And I was going over this with that same amazing assistant manager I have. And again, she's incredible. And I'm just so proud of her. And I want to tell you her name because I'm proud of her, but I don't because I don't want to embarrass her. But I was just talking to her and I said, hey, how did your phone time go last night? And she goes, oh man, it was really rough. And it was this and that. And I was like, well, that's okay. You know what happened? And she's like, I meant to do it. And then I just got a little busy. And then I said, I'll be more effective later when I'm not doing all this stuff. And I meant to do it later. And I thought I was going to do it later. And then it got later. I was in a bad mood. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to do a good job anyway. I can't afford to waste these contacts. If I call them now, I'm going to screw it up. So I'll just do it tomorrow morning. But then it got done. And I realized you said to text me when you're done. And then I was embarrassed to text you. And then I felt bad about myself. And so then the next morning I woke up. She's like, I'm going to do it. But then I felt all the pressure of that. And then I knew I hadn't called you. And I felt bad about myself. And I just didn't do my phone time. And like, she's going through, guys, it's 2:15 in the afternoon. I'm just going, how was your phone time last night? And she had been on an emotional journey. And I was like, whoa, calm down. Is the answer to your phone time you just didn't get it done? And she was like, I mean, yeah. I was like, all right, that's not ideal, but like it's gonna happen. I meant to work out last night. I didn't get done either. It sucks sometimes that we're imperfect and we're still growing together. Okay, I go, but why didn't you just call me? And she was like, I don't know. I was embarrassed. I didn't want to disappoint you. I didn't want to disappoint myself. And I was like, right, but how did that work out for you? And she was like, not good, not good. And in my office, we lovingly call this the shame spiral. I was like, oh, you're on the shame spiral. She's like, I am on the shame spiral. Because we talk about this with our reps all the time. Guys, there's never a time in this job you need to be on the shame spiral. If you need help, I need you to ask for it. I need you to simplify the job. And please stop making this harder than it is. Do some demos, close some sales, ask for recs, and then ask again, and then keep your schedule in order so your phone time is solid. Guys, if you do this, it's gonna be the best job you ever have. I promise you that, but it doesn't need to be so damn hard, and you don't need to be so hard on yourself. Bet? Can we live with that? All right.